Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Tullah.
Sorry, I'm running a little late.
Yes, we are. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
think we can start, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin. Wa ala ali kulli wa sahbi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So we continue our journey of delving in the Quranic treasure in the month of Quran. And yesterday, we reflected on a verse related to consultation, shura. And what we reflect on the context of the revelation of that verse and the meaning in the wording in that verse. So we'll find out essentially, and the verse provides very good universal guidance principle for us. It was revealed right after the Battle of Uhud, in which when there was very painful failure, rather than being harsh and blaming those who made mistakes, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was very kind and nice to them. And instead of blaming them, he essentially consults with them, forgive them, and treat them with kindness. So in this regard, that it gives us the principles that how we show treat others when we work together and we see them, their mistakes, their fault, they're causing, let's say, big failure. That's one very, very important lessons that we learn, which says that the Prophet, peace be upon him, was always forgiving, humble, kind in his word, is in his act. And the second key principles that we reflect on is the shura, then says consult with them in your affair. But as you consult with them, know the ultimate decision and ultimate outcome is from Allah, and make your tawakkul. So that was also very interesting in a way, that you do your part, and in this particular case, as you make decision through consultation, but you always know that Allah is the one who is in charge of all event. Allah is the one who knows all the outcomes, all the best, all options, and He's the one that gives you the best outcome. So trust Him, rely on Him, and that's tawakkul. We said is very, very essential. So there was one ayah, and today we said there's another ayah in a way complementing this ayah. And inshallah, we're going to reflect on this ayah as well today to get a better picture of what can we derive from this Quranic principles in our daily life, in managing company or managing country at every level in terms of governance. So let's start, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's start with the ayah, inshallah. And listen to it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
It is so strange. The Quran is, from outward, it looks so strange book. Jumps from one subject to another, irrelevant with each other. And starts talking about a story of a prophet and cuts it there and goes into a completely different subject. What a confusing book it is. Looks like it. But the beauty, the message, the conciseness lies there. No word is used with no purpose. Look at this ayah. And those who respond to their Lord. It's good. استجابوا لربهم. Good. And it makes sense. Now, I respond to my creator. Acknowledge him, I need to respond to him. Okay. Establish prayer. Welcome. Now, it's nothing wrong. But through prayer, I'm connecting my own existence to my creator. And what is it to do here now? Conduct their affairs, shura bainahum, by mutual consultation. Just a minute. I am connecting myself to my creator through prayer. It's all right. That is what the main message of the Quran, one of the main messages of the Quran. Well, I am happy with it. I understand. What is it to do with social affairs? Irrelevant. Okay. And وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Allahu Akbar. Now jumps back to the zakat and give to others out of what we have provided for them. Now the social matters, personal responsibility before my creator and my social responsibility before the community that I'm living with, and suddenly jumps to administration or governing. This is amazing. This is a miraculous teaching of the Quran. What does it say? First, you cannot separate your personal connection with me from your connection with the society, and also how to deal with your life, how to deal with your social relationship with each other. They are completely integrated with each other. They cannot be separated. What is the significance of it? And this is my pain. This is my pain. Fiqh rules are related here, especially about governing, mutual consultation. Governing is a big subject. And you have to do this, it must be so, it must be this way. All actions related to social affairs of the community. Fiqh rules. And the ayah shows that really, I really amazed at the beauty of the ayah. It cannot be separated from your personal, if you like, spiritual connection with your Creator through prayer and through zakah. So it must be completely integrated. What is the significance of it? I am not a faqih. Well, we are not a faqih. I think Nejati cannot claim. Can you say that, Dr. Nejati, I know faqih, I can pass judgment?
No, I don't have such claim.
No, we are not here. But we are trying to understand how the Quran educates us, prepares us for our future life in the hereafter. And we call it reading the Quran from belief perspective. We are not here trying to pass judgment, making fiqh rules. No, we are trying to establish how the fiqh rules must be integrated with Quranic teaching of belief, how they should be integrated with each other. That is amazing, and I'm very admiring Said Nursi about this point. How does he do it? So I learned from him. So it was really essential. We talk about fiqh rules, but we don't talk about its belief dimension, connection. How is it connected to your belief? For example, when you are practicing the law, the rules of inheritance, how do you connect it with your belief? What is the belief side of it? Iman side of it. Another significant matter is when I am introducing or talking about, discussing about fiqh rules, I should never, ever forget fiqh rules can be applied and falls into the responsibility of a person if only he believes in God, he believes that his life belongs to the Creator, he believes that his free will needs to be attached to God's will. If someone believes in God, can you tell him what prayer is? If someone doesn't believe, doesn't believe in God, can say, you have to pray. But he says, why? You have to worship. To whom? I am the product of nature. What are you talking about? God is just a myth. Can you offer him fiqh rules to apply? You have to make wudu. He will just laugh at it. So the principle is, if someone doesn't believe in God and he doesn't believe in any sacred rule, ruling, the Christian, Jews, Muslims, you cannot offer them to practice Islam. So, for example, it's Ramadan now. Somebody is not a Muslim and doesn't believe in God and lives a secular life and say that, why don't you fast? It is ridiculous, isn't it? That is why we have to be very careful. Talking about women's rights, talking about Islamic governing, administration, talking about any related matter with a person, he says, what do you think? Women will be, will have half of the property. What are you talking about? Why? Everybody has the same right. You cannot explain him unless presenting the subject within a framework of believing society. Now, within the believing society, this rule makes sense. For example, asking somebody as an economist, Dr. Najati will say, can you run a secular society with 2.5% tax? And here is the economic system of most the capitalist system in the world. Can this government really sustain its life? 2.5%?
I don't think. I think it goes almost in many places up to 50%.
In some places, but no, even the most stable economies goes into inflation because capitalist system necessitates inflation in order to support the investments for some supporting the capital. Well, this is what 2% looks ridiculous. So you cannot explain him. A woman, yeah, will be in this position while taking the inheritance, and you cannot explain. Only fiqh rules must be taught, must be understood within the context of believing society. We should never, ever, if someone doesn't believe in God, How can you explain that? I am a free created man. I can do everything. Tell him, no, you have to have a marriage contract. Why? He said, well, we promised each other. That's it. Why should I have an authority over us? So while we are also thinking about ourselves related to fiqh matters, we have to first bear in mind who I am, why I am here, and what is expected of me to do since I am going to die. What is the end result of my considerations? For example, this is prohibited, this is not, this is permitted. Why should I consider this? It makes sense only within the context of the believing system that we learn from the Quran. Believe in God, believe in the hereafter, believe in the angels and revelation, prophets, and qadar, overall qadar. All the universe is controlled by the Rabbul Alameen. We have to pray, we have to bear in mind this Iman perspective, and fiqh rules make sense if they are presented within the context of Iman perspective. That is why the Quran says from prayer or responding to your Lord, establishing prayer, and having consultation in your governance, and sharing the zakat, property with others. In this context, look, belief and fiqh rules are combined together. Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Ali. I want to, I think what you mentioned in terms of fiqh being relevant only when you're a believer, it's very clear. I think everyone will acknowledge that. Obviously, fiqh is not applicable to non-believers. The question here is, once you have a community of believers, then can you just go and explain do's and don't do's in terms of fiqh without explicitly mentioning how this fiqh rule is connected to the iman? Because your assumption is those are believers. So given they are believers, I don't need to tell them anything about belief. I just tell them do this, don't do this. So that's what I see that Islamic education turned to, in a way of informing what you must do, what you must avoid to do, assuming that you're a believer, without providing a clear connection between that particular action and iman. So that's what I think that's what your emphasis here. I guess you're saying for every things that every fiqh matter, the best way is to really provide this in context of the iman, meaning that to show how this is linked to the iman. If I'm going to, again, do the shura, what this has to do with the salat and iman? So you're saying that I need to understand that. So you cannot assume, oh, this is Muslims. Since you're a believer and Quran wants to do the shura and go to the shura. You don't need to see the connection. But I think your point is that you must see the connection. Why?
For example, let me try to communicate, not necessarily a satisfying answer is guaranteed. No. Just communication and also interaction. For example, while I am saying that the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, made 2 sajdas, but 1 rakah, for example, and saying that if you don't make 2 sajda in 1 rakah, no, I was going to say, in 1 rakah, 2 sajda and 1 ruku'. Now, that is the rule. If you don't do it, your salat is not accepted. Is there anything wrong with it? Nothing wrong with it. It's correct. That's how the Prophet ﷺ performed and educated the people around them and established Sunnah in this way. That's absolutely correct. And the belief perspective is, what do you express while you are making ruku', bowing, while you are making sajda? What do you express? How do you put your understanding of your being, your existence in this world? How do you really train your feelings through sajda? What do you see? If someone doesn't believe in God, they will just say, are you smelling the sajjada? What are you doing? Right? So I am expressing what I believe before God. That is prayer. I am nothing. My honor, my face on the ground means you are the one owner of this universe. I am only a creature here acknowledging your exaltedness, your grandeur. Now, this iman, only this consciousness makes the rule of sajda meaningful. Without this meaning, sajda means just human against human honor. What are you doing here? That is why we have to really connect it. Without this connection, most of the fiqh rules doesn't make sense. If we understand this, inshallah, we will understand how the shura should be established, in which conditions, with what consciousness, which kind of consciousness we should have while we are establishing the shura. Can we establish shura in a secular society? That secular society will shape this consultation completely different from how the Quran formulates it, because of belief perspective. Unfortunately, this belief perspective is ignored and caused a loss of confusion. Muslim minds confusing what Islamic shura is, what secular consultation is. They call it election. No, we are asking people to elect their own representatives. This is a consultation. Let's say, is it so? We will see that, inshallah. So let's, of course, we talked about, just I will read what is written so that this combination, this really welding iman with fiqh rule is presented in this ayah. There are many others, but this ayah is more clearer to understand. One, govern your personal life with prayer by keeping your connection with your Creator. Acknowledge Him to be the Rabb of your personal life and follow His rulings. Rulings means His advice. Do this, don't do that. It is good for you. I am the creator of you. I know what to do. As we talked yesterday, and Dr. Najati gave us a beautiful example. I am the builder, engineer of this car. I know how to use it in the best way. Here it is. Do this, don't do that. And we cannot say that, this is my car. Who are you? Yes, you are giving the car, but he is the engineer of the car. So he knows much better than you. Think about it. Have you made the car? No. So think about it. Who made it? He has the best knowledge to give you advice about it, how to use it. The second is shura. Govern your social life of the believers with consultation with those who are from your fellow believers. Acknowledge him to be the one who is the Lord of all human beings, Rabbun Nas. He is the Rabbun Nas, Rabbul Alameen, when it is specifically Rabbun Nas, the Lord of all human beings. So the third element, govern your property by providing the needy with what God has what God gave you as a trust emane, because it says وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ, we gave you emane, and by giving their share in that trusted property. Because Quran says el-fuqara, the needy ones, have a share in the property I entrusted you. That's another ayah. So the needy people's share is already within our properties that got entrusted to us. The real owner of the property is the one who created it. Acknowledge the rights of the creator who trusts his property to you. It is not mine, it is his. Through all these, connect all of your actions to the governor of the universe, as in the Quran. There may be some other Esma, El-Malik, El-Rab, El-Mudabbir, the one who really takes care of, administers everything. El-Muhaymin takes care of by your situation, Muhaymin, by providing all the means what is best for you and preventing all the other factors they may harm you, Muhaymin. So Mudabbir, Muhaymin, Rab, Malik, that is why God presents his asma, qualities. I am the one, I am the one, I am the one Malik, I am the one Rab, I am the one Mudabbir, I am the one Muhaymin. Acknowledge this. Accordingly, you arrange, you govern your personal, social life and your properties. There is an example here, what Said Nursi said almost a century ago. So what he presented to us. Shall I just read it, or would you like to make a comment, Dr.
I think you can read it, inshallah.
Now, he says, human progress, not exactly, this is just summary of what he said, not a literal translation. Human progress and the development of the sciences now, not the social matters, have largely been built on the exchange of ideas. Isn't that so? Scientists use their findings and they follow each other. They make, if you like, consultation in the same century, and also they have consultation in history. What has been done, how the discoveries reached this point, and how can I take it up and follow. So they have, in worldly affairs, they have consultation. We do as well. We do as well. If something happens, for example, that I cannot do, there is something wrong with my electric system, for example, or water supply system, I go and ask the expert and do it or give me the advice, consult him. Now, in other words, generations consult one another across centuries through the recorded history. They go back. For example, let's say a student doing a graduate study or a PhD in philosophy, They start from ancient Greek philosophers, and then continue, and then they go one step forward. He gives the example and draws our attention now to a point that was very interesting. In oh, oh, okay, in a similar way, one reason the Muslim world has fallen behind is the failure to practice this kind of genuine consultation, not brainwashing people by advertisements and propaganda. He says, why don't we have consultation in our social affairs related to governing? He says, when it comes to worldly life, we definitely make consultation. When it comes to worldly profession, we definitely go and ask somebody who knows and get educated and receive education through educational institutions. When it comes to religion, consultation, no. Dictatorship, sultans, kings come there. Where is consultation? Yeah. So he says consultation, shura, is the key to the future Muslim communities. Just as individuals consult with another, communities and the wider Muslim community, even entire humanity, must also practice consultation. Only in this way can the different forms of despotism, which have long acted the chains of the feet of more than millions of Muslim population, be removed and broken. Only we have to accept consultation. Otherwise, we have to be chained, he says, by any form of this despot people, any form. Just dictators, kings, sultans, just without consultation, they just inherit from their father the authority and impose themselves and rule the Muslims as they want. Of course, there are many problems there, and it has been here for centuries, actually. And in his time, he says millions of Muslim population, now over billion of Muslim population. None of the Muslim population really practices shura in their governing, unfortunately. Now, but he said it 100 years ago. Now the situation is not better. Now, through consultation in accordance with the Sharia, that is important, consultation in accordance with the Sharia, there will emerge a genuine freedom from, genuine freedom born from the courage and compassion of belief. Now, it is very interesting. In the view of Nursi, we see that consultation and freedom so far is directly connected. And freedom, genuine freedom, not selfish, egocentric freedom. Freedom from being enslaved in front of other created beings, human beings like you and me. So this is another subject, freedom, but consultation without freedom is not consultation. And also from the courage and compassion of belief. Iman. What Iman requires? Everybody is created. Everybody is equally needy before God only. No one is born with a higher position than the others. Everyone is Abdullah. So this rightful freedom will be adorned with the ethics of Sharia. Why? Because Allah's rule is over everybody else. Now, while discarding the corrupt elements found with the secular civilization, of course, we have to be very careful. Secular civilization defines human being as what? Accidental, accidentally happened, being developed and happened to be alive, having life and having conscious, accidentally. So they say, okay, we are going to live here for a temporary period. Until we die, we have to enjoy ourselves as we want. That is not the definition of a human being in Sharia. Now, that is, I summarized his advice about consultation, the conditions of it. That's my conclusion. For Nursi, there is a mutual relationship between consultation, freedom, and belief in God. Without belief in God, we cannot talk about consultation and freedom according to the teachings of the Quran. Without freedom, you cannot have consultation. Can you consult somebody who has to say what you want? For example, this is ridiculous. Eh? Some sultans appoint some Sheikhul Islam, this called. He appoints it and says, tell me what Sharia says. If it says something, history is full of these crimes. They were imprisoned. Ahmed ibn Hanbal said, I believe that the Quran is not created. Isn't that normal? That's my belief. No, you have to say Quran is created. He said, no, I don't believe. What happened? He and his friends sharing the same idea, imprisoned, beaten up, and some of them were killed. Why? There is no consultation. Shari'i consultation, self-appointed king. So that is what Nursi says. This is the shackle, this is the chain on the feet of more than now billion Muslim population. Only through consultation must we establish among ourselves. This is what I done.
Okay, so Dr. Ali, can I jump in to make some comment on that? If you can go to previous slide. So I think this is obviously it's giving very historical assessment of where we are and why we are where we are. So in this regards, the importance of consultation, the lack of shura in Muslim community seems like the main point that Nursi has it here. And I think when we really look at it, the Muslim society, we clearly see that this concept of shura is not internalized. At the family level, you will have, let's say, father is dominant, is make decision, and everyone else has to just listen. At, let's say, a certain governmental office, you have whoever is, in this case, the manager there wants to decide and everyone just be follower. So we see mostly instead of these consultations, we develop a type of leader and follower. So everywhere you have someone as a leader and everyone is just a follower. And whether that's the president, whether that's the principal, whether that's the father, you don't really see any consultation in a genuine way, or it's a very limited one if there is any. I remember once, a friend of mine told me that he attended to one ministerial meeting. The minister, along with the top managers, meet together, try to decide on something. He said almost everyone were looking what the minister think, and then they start to provide just the idea to support the minister's idea. So, which means there is really no genuine consultations. But when we look at the Prophet, peace be upon him, obviously as the living Quran, we see he in his life truly internalized this consultation. Though he was the Prophet of Allah, peace be upon him, he never said that I know better, just listen to me. I don't need your idea. And we see in a very crucial sense, we discussed in Uhud and Handak as well. That was well known. He consulted with Salman al-Farisi that in terms of his position, Salman was not supposed to be a guy that you will even listen to. But he invited him, he listened to what he said, and not only that, he followed, he practiced what actually he found out that's a great idea. So
he was an immigrant.
He was an immigrant, yeah, he was an immigrant, but again, a worker, I guess, there it wasn't. Yeah. So in this regard, that what I see, I say it's to internalize this when you run the company, when you run a certain agency, when you run a family, when you run a country. It's very, very essential, but it's not that easy. And I will argue, again, you mentioned consultation in the West and in a secular and Islamic society will be different, because in a secular, there is no connection to Iman. In a Muslim society, there will be Iman dimension of this consultation. So you consult, and in a way, I feel what you're saying, that in this case, the guidance or the barakah come through the consultation, because it's Allah that gives you the idea. And Allah says that if you talk to each other, I'm going to give more idea to you guys. If you alone to things, I'm going to give you less idea. So in this case, the belief here is that to say, it is him is the giver. He is the one inspiring me the idea. And he's saying, I'm going to give you, if you come together, then I have to come together, because that's what he's saying that. So I link to the Iman, but the secular people do not have this. They only see when they come together, they get better idea. And therefore they consult with each other and they implement, they develop governance principles. They establish the company based on that one. They make decision based on that. I will say, if you assess the secular society versus the Muslim society, you find out the shura principle is more applied in a secular society than a Muslim society. And while this is a Quranic principle, what is the case? Why does the situation? How can we truly internalize this, principle and bring to our life at every level? That's really, when I was reflecting, when I was listening what you said and what Nursi said, that said Nursi is crying and saying, look, we are enslaved because we're not following these Quranic principles. So if we don't follow that, we cannot succeed, and we have to stay as an enslaved. And I feel now, Muslim world is really going through another enslavement period. And I feel like the main reason is one of the key reasons is the lack of shura at the societal level at every stage of decision making. What do you think on this?
If there is no consultation, there should be no freedom. If there was no freedom, there should be no consultation. There cannot be consultation. So freedom, consultation, according to Islam, belief in God, because above everyone, God is the final authority. Now, Bismillah. Shall we come now?
Yes.
Now, two important elements in an Islamic political governance. Now, one is the majority of the community must consist of believers. You cannot have Islamic consultation in a non-Muslim, non-believers. Now, we will see the Quran now, ayah. Not Muslims by title. And I was born here. No, no. You have to be consciously believing who you are, who owns this universe, and who has the authority over you. Now, this is the precondition to establish, in fact, in every fiqh rule in Islam. In the religion of Islam, and who are now believer in the religion of Islam, and who are willingly, not forced. Now you are a Muslim now in this country. We are in power now. Some crazy people did this recently, recent history. So they are forced to follow their authority. If they don't, they punish them. I don't know what they did, but crazy in the name of Islam. You cannot enforce fiqh rules on a person who doesn't believe. They have other rules. The hukuk غير المسلم in a Muslim society, the non-Muslims' rights in a Muslim administration, if there is a Muslim administration, it is another set of fiqh rules. Vice versa as well. If you are living in a non-Muslim society as a believer, there are another set of rules of fiqh applications. They are not the same. Anyways, if you want to have it, the one who joins Islamic administration willingly, not forced, convinced that the Sharia's rules should be applied in governing their personal and social lives. They must say that. I am convinced Sharia must be the ruler. By whom? Majority of the community. Now, this is one condition. The second, the governor, the Emir al-Mu'minin, it's called, should be freely elected through consultation among the members of the community themselves, not imposed upon them. No. Freely elected and chosen from among their fellow believers. Now, I am in this community. There is a ruler, this Emir al-Mu'minin. Hasha. I had nothing. I haven't given the authority to him at all. He appointed himself there. So look at the ayah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We don't have much time, so.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That is enough, Dr. Najati. That is enough. Now, all you who believe, these are important elements in the ayah. Sorry. All you who believe, Quran is addressing to whom? Believers. Obey God. Because he is already believing. Look, Quran is going to establish what? A fiqh rule now. But prerequisite is believe. After that, obey God makes sense. Because you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, you just obey God. Who's God? I don't know. I don't believe. Doesn't make sense. And if you believe in God, Then the second one, in your practical life and the messenger. Now obey God and the messenger, because he is the practical representation of the application of the fiqh rules. It means practical rules. He is the instructor. Quran tells what to do. Prophet performs, as an example, how to do what Allah required. So it is necessary. Okay. وَأُولُو الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ. Wow. And also, there is a third element. If you are, obey God and the messenger here, and those who in authority among yourself. Ve ulul emri minkum. Now, you see the connection? Minkum means min mu'minin. Minel mu'minin. The Quran is speaking to believing society. Minkum minel mu'minin. Not anybody. Minel mu'minin. He, the one, the ulul amr, must be there to put one's belief in application. Not that I am here, so I am the ruler here, yeah, authority, so you have to obey me. So that is, there are lots of confusions where our friends may think that, why this man is emphasizing on this belief. Why? That is the missing point in the minds of Muslim population. If you are in dispute over any matter, refer it to God, not to secular laws. And the messenger, sunnah, practice of the prophet. Now, they say, this is our ruler. When there is a dispute, it means something to decide. What do? Here is the law. Here is what our sultan wanted. Wow. Because our sultan is Muslim. Was he really elected as a result of consultation? Or he just elected because his father wanted him? Or dictator appointed by some other authorities. Now, the condition is, now you have, if there is a dispute among you, refer it to God and messenger. If you are truly believe in God and the last day, because we are not here to entertain our life only here. We are here to prepare ourselves for the last day. That is better and fairer in the end. That is what the Quran is establishing, how the consultation as far as the governing of the believers' society is concerned. We have to understand that the consultation must be in this way, and the ulul amr authority must be among believers. When there is a problem, he must go and consult God and his messenger. It means Quran and the Sunnah, not secular laws, man-made laws. Now, this needs consciousness. Okay, all right. Sorry. Do we have time?
I think we have just 3 minutes.
No, 3 minutes we have. No. Okay. There is an interesting hadith. But before going to this hadith, just let's stop when time comes to study hadith. It is extremely important and also practically concerns to everyone, not only to be a leader or authority among over the Muslim or believers society. Now, election of an Emir al-Mu'minin with consultation from among the believers. This is the condition now. Islamic consultation, shura, when it comes to choosing the ulul amr, the leaders of the believers, now ulul amr, leaders of the believers. Ulul amr, it means they are called Emir al-Mu'minin. Khulafai Rashidin were called Emir al-Mu'minin. Should operate when at least 3 basic conditions are present. Only if these 3 basic principles, conditions present there, ready, then we can apply it. First, 1, the person believes in the necessity of applying the Sharia. First, now, the person who must believe in the necessity of applying the Sharia, not an hypocrite politician. The second, the person doesn't seek leadership. Goes out that, elect me, I am the best one, these people are bad, and reduce the alternative into 2 parties only, and condition people's minds with propaganda, rallying. No, doesn't seek leadership. The third, the person accepts the responsibility if it is entrusted to them without asking. There is a big question here. Why aren't we going to ask for a job, for example? And there are other ayats that we are going to study, seems to be saying something else. We will discuss them. The verse we studied just now supports the first condition, this one we studied here. The first condition is the person believes in the necessity of applying the Sharia. The second and third conditions, a well-known hadith, we are going to study this, supports the second and third conditions. Now, inshallah, we will start tomorrow by studying this very practical, concerning everyone, all the time, and also governing the Muslim community, definitely, but very practical. Inshallah, let's continue tomorrow from this hadith, inshallah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think overall, well, if I summarize in a brief way, what we've seen that the Quran provides very good principles of how to manage our affair when we come together and work together. So the Quran's asking us to make our decision through consultation at every level. But when we really look at that, we see this is linked to the Iman, that we as a believer only can apply the Sharia, the rules of Allah in our personal or social life. Particularly, I think here is when we refer to the society. If you are establishing an Islamic society, and again, we mentioned yesterday, they refer to Medina era. So when we have a Muslim community reach to the certain level and they want to have their own rules, now in this case that the Quran provide guidance that how they should make a governance, how they should make a decision. So the interesting part here is that when we don't understand the Quranic principles and the prophetic examples, then we think as if the Western principles regarding this issue, like democracy, is a better way of managing our affair. But I think it's very clear that from the Islamic perspective, the shura is essential principles, but if it is practiced properly, and if it is practiced with the conscious of belief in connection with the Creator. So in that case, that the whole idea here is not like I have a great things and I'm going to go and get the other to approve my great idea. The whole point is that the Creator is the one who create all the idea, is the one that who inspire all the idea. And he wants me to, in a way, go and work with other individuals collectively asking for the help, asking for the inspiration. So that is the belief part of it. So in this case, that I will go and make decision with consultation and knowing that this is what Allah wants me to do, and knowing that even I make mistakes, let's say collectively we end up making a wrong decision, still it is overall as a guiding principle is good, because it is more likely if I personally make decision to make more mistakes. But if we make a collective decision making, even if we make mistakes this time, more likely we're going to make a correct decision next time. So therefore, I need to believe in the consultation as the governing principle, as a constitution. And at every level, whether against family, company, or country, when I manage that, I should bring this consultation at the core of that. As I mentioned before, I think if we truly understand and truly internalize this and look at the prophetic examples to understand its importance, and I think it will become a game changer in a sense that helping us to be blessed more with better outcome, because it's very clear that the Quran clearly states, and Allah make this as a condition for us to get the blessing, that we need to come together, to work together, to consult to each other, to get, in this case, in the right inspiration from Allah for whatever we want to do in life. So again, I think perhaps tomorrow, as we reflect more on that, that's going to give us better pictures of how this differs from a secular version, that's democracy, or they call sometimes participatory decision making, in a way that you get more people to participate in decision making. So there are, I think, a lot in common, but there are very key differences. That's the Iman side is very different, and to really see the side of this is very essential, as you clearly point to that in almost all verses. You start with the Iman, then you're asked to do the consultation, because they are linked together, and you're not supposed to impose those fiqh things on those who do not really understand and believe in it. Okay, I think that's what I can say, and let's end with dua, inshallah.
There's, of course, Iman perspective, and also doesn't seek leadership. And there is another ayah that we are going to study about Yusuf. These are very misused concepts that we will, inshallah, be aware of. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alim hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati sirri surat al-Fatiha.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow, inshallah. And I see, as we're getting toward the end, obviously, number of consistent individuals become much clear to us. Yeah. I just want to let you know we are, inshallah, very soon have a whole session to see who are really committed to continue this journey with us after the Ramadan. We don't want to really have this program to be limited to the Ramadan, but we want to identify those individuals who's willing to join our journey of discover more of the golden diamond of Quran, inshallah.
Not every day, yeah, after Ramadan.
Yeah, no, inshallah, at
Maybe
least
too much.
maybe once a week, inshallah. Oh, we'll decide together, inshallah.
Inshallah, we will decide together. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Salam.